They ain't R nor they G, but they are B, booty. Trio recognize Fugazi, no matter the flag. Like that gay mag, you outed yourself as a fag, demonstrating that homoeroticism in the name of Islamism. Think they bigger than the law? Oh no, gotta spit that raw on that hee-haw. Donkey, monkey, clown and Emcee. He knew that he did a Miss A-Robbly job in defense of Ali, and when called on it, commits to dissing Ali. Watch your enemies, dear moles. Angel posted at the foes, including the dismal Crips. Nat Turner was trying to get to the dismal slumps. Angels get dumped in the trunk like the thump of this beat. Scimitars bringing that heat to defeat all that trickery. Pimpin' Ken said DVD is the new pimpology. Graphics and illusionary can't erase the fact that you're a liar and a hater. Jealousy is so pathetic on a grown man. You can't take the prophet's props, the prophet's props are due. In case you didn't know, this L to the U to the T, set for the defense of the good news that use goat riding bootleg Asians trying to abuse. We won't allow it, we suggest you disavow it. Caveat emptor. If the vest fits, let them wear it. If the turban fits, let them wear it.
Hey yo, I gotta calm down. Hey yo, I ain't really want to do it. All these men say don't do it. But I can't control myself. I gotta do it. My fault, brother, I'm going in. Y'all don't really want it where Ali's been. You say you Moorish, but you don't know where Ali's been. You ain't Ali's friend, so take that fez off.
Invasion. Watch for democracies, hypocrisy, philosophies, fear and shock factories, pseudo-court mockeries and poppy fields, blocking swinging chops without Moroccan shields. Industry demonic, throw reverse and spokes and stopping wheels. Coffin fields empty, buried in the battlefields. Working on the streets is walking in some cattle fields. King Alfred bruising, lover mental snoozing, sleepwalking and talking, cell phones are soothing. Minds disappearing, genetic memory erasing. Don't even have a job, but they get you for tax evasion. Hot like a frying pan, crying fam, lying men. Use gadgets, spying men, no loyalty, just buying friends. No credit, debt slaves, walking over paved graves. Enslaved, enraged, marriage to death prearranged. Mike Sufi Genie, bomb tracks bikini. Stupid niggas call my fez bucket hat when they see me, but won't ask a thing or drink the water that I bring. But when the Pope comes, they kissing on his ring. They rather drink a rapper's flow from the black fountain. Piper got the dead lined up in the thousands. Confusion with illusions, infusion with sorcery. Won't give up my birthright no matter what they offer me. No deal, push the red button, I'm going home. Close my eyes, meet Yasanel in Vendome. The fire that we put on Rome, make their walls shake. Islamism grand chic, not spelled like shake. Open minds, not scarred on when you enter my zone. I wouldn't call it murder when I snap the neck of my clone. Trying to escape with the Moorish temple charter. Beat his face the tartar, no making me a martyr. Third eye enlarger, aura is my armor. When I plant a seed in man's soil, rhyme farmer. Use the alma rap sorta like an almanac. Keep listening to sleepless hip-hop insomniac. Moorish Emcee, call me that acquiesce, don't call back, just fall back. Any rapper after 95, all whack. Their flow just trickles like drops on icicles. Rappers need training wheels on their rhymesicles. Keep people's mind pickled in a lost realm. When it comes to Moorish MCs, I'm at the helm. Invasion. Trying to escape with the Moorish temple charter. Beat his face the tartar, no making me a martyr. Third eye enlarger, aura is my armor. Aura is my armor. Aura is my armor. Invasion. Trying to escape with the Moorish temple charter. Beat his face the tartar, no making me a martyr. Third eye enlarger, aura is my armor. Aura is my armor. Aura is my invasion.
Swing the scimitar and I take.
You know, there's a way to Moors where you can start a war and it'll be bloody and violent. And then, according to one of my great scholars, Jacob Carruthers, it'll end in intellectual warfare, which is what we're going through now. It's no longer, big scimitars or, even an M16.
Swing the scimitar and I take heads off. Leave that fez on. I pray I ain't dead wrong, cause I'ma take your fez once that head's gone. Sliming for recognition, thinking you representing. Stand like a fool no matter teaching or spitting. Ali's men told me to chill and it be hard for me when these fools misrepresent Drew Ali. How can you represent God with a name of a dog? You
Young pups can't fuck with the Cujo. Young pups can't fuck with the Cujo.
Rabies dog spitting flow, it's the more MC. No status rappers need to recognize Allah sent me to rep the prophet on beats, not Muhammad or Buddha. Verbal hashish when I flow out your headphone hookah. Whatever you think you started, it's about to end. Scimitar bass swing at your head and your lady friend. I watch no face, I don't care what you hear or heard. You won't see what I see with third eyes blurred. Hip-hop nerd at night, I read till my eyes bleed. I affirm you bleed. I got titles, you want these. I got nationality, you want ECCs and PPSA for freedom. You can't freedom with hearsay. When I spit, call me pepper spray. Verbal graph artist. Blacks always shot up calling yourself the color of targets. Systems crashing, I noticed that they closed all the targets. Blacks were slave names on the stocks, crashing the markets. Who? What?
Young pups can't fuck with the Cujo.
Who? What?
Young pups can't fuck with the Cujo.
R-A-P-P-E-R-S-T-O-D-A-Y. Talk with tongues forked and dressed like party guys. I'm different and will not be compared to them. Every youth claims to have guns, but I'm not scared of them. We walking on their blocks, won't mess with Moors with locks. Especially after I use law and back down those cops, kidnapping them and giving Billy Club shots and slapping. Sniffing stolen coke off the dash in their paddy wagon, reaching north of office. Between bars like a chorus. All they want is black man fam at the forest. I'm going at all principles and subordinates. Moorish Emcee, don't care for statues and ordinance. Fezzes make magistrates sit up when we step in. If I plead, it's sex relation under fraud and misrepping. Standing on squares like Tekken. You call obelisks, leave whack rappers strumming in cornfields like cotton fists. What?
Young pups can't fuck with the Cujo.
Who? I'm bucking at the Antichrist. I'm bucking at the Antichrist. I'm bucking at the Antichrist. So as the rappers ducking, impropria persona is the status I'm stuck in. If you get with this, they won't treat you like black sheep. The choice is yours, whether you wanna stay awake or stay asleep. A lot of rappers for a check, keep it shallow, I stay deep. When pigs kidnap blue pill, I didn't hear a peep. From kill, crack, and Negroes, I notice your state of matter is soft like porridge. So what you say, it don't really matter. Won't call you imam looking like Abdullah the butcher. Tenderizing the halal pork chops and pressure cookers. Speculative, never acting through phone cameras. You lookers have no balls like at the end of a game of snooker. Punks like saying you're Jew when you're really a German. Punks calling ancestors black when they're wearing a turban. Punks punch with lines with their binan rhymes. I just tell Orishas of your sins and watch comic fans climb.
Young pups can't fuck with the Cujo. Young pups can't fuck with the Cujo. Young pups can't fuck with the Cujo. Young pups can't fuck with the Cujo.
Like, there's no fucking way that you can tell me that it's not a conspiracy, because you put out fucking records that make us look stupid. You make us look dumb.
But I can't control myself. I gotta do it. My fault, brother. I'm going in. Y'all don't really want it where Ali's been. You say you Moorish, but you don't know where Ali's been. You ain't Ali's friend, so take that fez off. I swing the scimitar and I take heads.
Stop. You wanna play God with a culture? You wanna change this shit? You wanna wash this out in 20 years? I remember back in the days, man, like Kid Flash had it so fucking tough. You know, Emcee Hammer had it so fucking tough, and now that shit is like cool now.
Leave that fez on, I pray I ain't dead wrong, cause I'ma take your fez once that head's gone. Sliming for recognition, thinking you representing, standing like a fool no matter teaching or spitting. Ali's men told me to chill and it be hard for me when these fools misrepresent Drew Ali. How can you represent God with the name of a dog? You all
Deep in the rugged cockpit country of west central Jamaica, the remote farming community of Flagstaff, with a population of about 1,000 people, looks no different than any other rural area in Jamaica. I know Flagstaff well because this is my home, the home of my family, and the homeland of my ancestors. At first glance, the bustling city of Freetown, the capital of the West African country of Sierra Leone, with a population of more than 1.2 million people, seems to have little in common with Flagstaff. However, both communities share a common Maroon heritage. In 2011, my friends and I decided to collect oral histories from Maroon descendants in Jamaica and Sierra Leone to reveal this history.
The Africans that had left the plantation to seek their own freedom in the hills of Jamaica, they were described as Maroons. But it is suffice to say that the people themselves describe themselves as Yankunkuna, meaning that they are free and independent people who fought for their own rights.
There are now 5 major Maroon communities: the windward communities of Moortown.
Moortown is situated in the lush highlands of eastern Jamaica and is home to the descendants of independent communities of former runaway slaves known as Maroons. The inhabitants of Moortown have preserved several economic, political and social aspects of their specific heritage, including a unique system of communally held treaty lands, a local political structure, and the use of the abeng, a side-blown talking horn of Jamaican origin which serves as a means of long-distance communication. The African ancestors of the Moortown Maroons were forcibly removed from their native lands to the New World by Spanish slave traders in the 16th and 17th centuries. The term Maroon, derived from the Spanish word cimarron, wild, refers to those slaves who fled the plantations in the early 1600s and established their own settlements in the Blue and John Crow Mountains of eastern Jamaica. By the early 18th century, the Maroon communities controlled much of the eastern part of the island. In order to paralyse the expanding plantation system then under British control, the Maroons formed well-organised and efficient underground military units. After decades of warfare, the British finally yielded to the community's demands for official recognition of their autonomy by signing a treaty with the Maroons in 1739. Originally from Western and Central Africa, with diverse languages and cultural practices, the Moortown Maroons developed new collective religious ceremonies that incorporated various spiritual traditions. These traditional expressions and practices, which were eventually named Chromanti play, constitute the very foundation of Maroon identity to this day.
Walking down the valley, this lovely wedding morning.
Yeah, right. Turn down, man. Alright.
During Chromanti ceremonies, dances, songs, and specific drumming styles are performed to invoke ancestral spirits. These ceremonies also feature Chromanti, an African-derived esoteric language, as well as rare medicinal preparation.
Charlestown and Scots Hall, located in eastern Jamaica, and leeward Maroon communities of a compound town and Flagstaff in the west end of the island. The leeward Maroons were led by a man named Cudjoe, who founded Cudjoe Town, which is known today as Flagstaff.
When Cudjoe sought a safe haven that the British could not manage him and his troop, they fled to the Cockpit Hills of St. James.
Here I'm standing on the path that Cudjoe took for his rescue to Petty River bottom. Here we're on the Maroon Trail that led to the home of one of the Maroon famous fighter, that's Cudjoe.
Right, what do you think about some of the newer artists that don't seem to be lyrically up to par with back in the day? But
Well, see, that's a very good question. See, now, I look at the times as being different, you know what I mean? And I think the way that guys are approaching making their songs is a little bit different. I think our attention span is different. Like, when I'm talking to you right now, your phone may be going on. Somebody may be texting you. You get in a call. You get in an email. Yo, I want to talk to you. This is going, like, it's so much going on now that I think that people are not focused no more.
Dog food, you must be eating the hog. Better greet me in love and I forgive you for your last thought. Make no mistake about it, we got passport and know how to use them. I say know how to use them. Ali men got passports, we know how to use them.
So I think that when cats is putting their lyrics together, I don't think they're putting the same time into it. I don't think they're giving it the same attention. And I think they're just trying to get the record out quick. They're just trying to drop it quick. It's like fast food hip hop.
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, hey, you might have just coined a new phrase right there. Fast food hip hop.
So it's not the same time, you know what I mean?
And the old school hip hop was like the soul food.
You better make every ingredient right.
Right.
Because back in the days, you used to say if somebody took your lyrics, it was biting.
Right.
Remember that?
Yeah.
You biting my rhyme, like that was damn near like a death sentence.
Right.
Because
Hold up. Hey, young Roger, bring it back. Let's calm it down.
The timekeeper. You left it to illuminate our hearts.
I'm just trying to live up. I don't wanna give up. I'm just trying to live up. I don't wanna give up. I'm just trying to live up. I'm sitting contemplating whether I wanna give up. I'm here concentrating on giving a fuck. They say to suck seed I'd rather achieve. They want you to believe and take it slow, but I bring it to fruition. I make it grow, manifest destiny. That's all I know, but the test keeps testing me everywhere I go, and I'm trying to open sesame and break this fucking mold. Now this search for this recipe is eating on my soul, all my members and faculties. I'm trying to gain control. They say it's a process, we all gotta go through to get to higher self from low. But a soldier never knows the strength until he faces foe, and a mastermind never knows by being told. He traces DNA to the ages that were old. Beware of the spies and the lies that they sold. Align with your constitutional fold. Align with your constitutional fold. Align with your constitutional fold.
Don't give up.
A million voices in my head saying, Jay, how could I? Why would I? A million voices in my head saying, Jay, how could I? Why would I?
Future isn't just one.
A million voices in my head saying, Jay, how could I? And why would I? Starly Moon. Sitting meditating on the quality of life. Here deliberating if I should stay in this fight. They say we don't read, put it in a book. They want us to concede. I never look, but I use my intuition. I'm never shook, they'll never get the best of me. That's all I know, wanna get next to me.
Police Officer Lambie, again, can I ask you why you're following me around?
Everywhere I go, trying to open dissect me. Hell fucking know I'm on my search for this remedy. Hear this common cold, all these senseless casualties who's there to console. They say it's a process, we all gotta go through to get to higher self from low. Weight on the shoulder, dense pain I couldn't show. It's hard to find and always know what is your role. He gave us our estate, more than silver and gold. Be clear of the signs and the times that they told. Align mind, body, spirit and soul. Align mind, body, spirit and soul. Align mind, body, spirit and soul.
Don't give up.
A million voices in my head saying, Jay, how could I? Why would I? A million voices in my head saying, Jay, how could I? Why would I?
Future isn't just one.
A million voices in my head saying, Jay, how could I? And why would I?
Who are you? Jay?
He's back, the light giver.
All hail Jay! All hail Jay! All hail Jay! All hail Jay!
Oh, merciful one.
Go back and reconcile your past in order to move tranquilly into your future. Give twice as much as ye receive on the most sacred of days. Wait! The commandments!
The tablet! The tablet! The tablet! The tablet! The tablet!
We have lived by its word, and peace has reigned throughout our world. Pass it on to others, so that they too may be enlightened.
A million voices in my head saying, Jay, how could I? Why would I?
Future isn't just one. Don't give up.
You never wanted nobody to say it was biting. You had to be original. So now, people biting, it don't mean nothing.
Yeah, it's almost expected. It's almost like you're supposed to do it, huh?
Right.
Yeah,
Like
it
it's
is
biting
crazy.
it. Like you didn't bite. Nah, this ain't right now.
Right, yeah.
World College Dictionary, 4th edition, you need to have that in your house. You need to have the Black's Law Dictionary in your house. Remember, there's a dictionary for almost all the fields. A cooking dictionary, a dictionary for doctors, for medicine, all that stuff. So the stuff that you learn in school, when you go to the courthouse, you can't use those words. There's the word here in the Black's Law Dictionary, but it doesn't mean the word here that you have. Here and thereafter, we don't know what that stuff means. That's why you have to pay a lawyer. But some of the stuff we can learn on your own if you get the book and you know where to get the information from. There's two people that I have DVDs of, and you should check it online or see if you can pick it up. Booker T. Coleman, also C. Freeman Ill. You can you get the book or go online and you can pull it up and get a peep at it.
That on your list here?
It may not be on the list. So.
Add it to it. Ernest?
We are all here familiar with the cross, right? We think that the cross has something to do with religion, but it doesn't. When you look at the cross is like a box. If you had a box, a square box, and you put a line down this way and a line across this way here, right? You have north and south and east and west, right? That's the box. Then when you checked out this brother's video, he'll show you that. You put colors on there, you put sound on there, you put the fire, air, and water on that same thing. So we're talking about how the universe operates, not religion. No matter what religion you are, when the sun shines, it doesn't shine for you by yourself. It shines for the fruits and the vegetables, and it transfers water from the ground back up to the heavens and send it back down to you purified. Because the dirt can't go up. Only the moisture can go up. Then we send it back to you, then the wind blow it somewhere else. We have to study science, and that's it. Anybody, you want to have your religion? It's all right. But when you go to the science, you see the science is going to rule all that stuff out. Your mind and your brain, like they say, yo, man, my man got hot, huh? Yeah, but that's not what that means. Your heart doesn't do none of that. Your heart only pumps blood to and fro, and it's also the cooling system if you study air conditioning refrigeration. As your blood travels around your body, it actually cools, and when it comes back to your heart, it's at a different temperature. But it does not give you courage. Your courage comes from your brain. A mind is a terrible thing to destroy. But it's being destroyed because we don't even know how to use that. Someone else is using our brains. We're not using it. We're having people to tell us what to do and how to do it, and that you need a lawyer. You might need a lawyer, but go read some stuff on your own.
Remember, if you go back to the letter that was written by George Washington in his conversation with Sultan Sidi, it talks about how they owe tribute to the Moors for allowing them to even come to the Americas. When the Americas were first established, it wasn't even called America first. It was called Virginia. Okay, let's get that clear. And it was just a little small place. What the Europeans did is when they were on the ships, they created these compacts. One of them was called the Mayflower Compact. And before they actually came to the shore, they created government and brought government on the shore. And that equals the Admiralty government of today. But what you have to understand about that is that though that may be so, we were already here. So if we were the Aboriginal indigenous person, and we ourselves have defined what a Moor is. Because again, the most powerful weapon in the hands of a man who will wield it or a woman who will wield it is not a gun or a knife or a machete or anything like that. The most powerful tool that we can have is the power of definition and what we define as reality for ourselves and our families. So we said that a Moor is an Aboriginal and indigenous person of North, South, and Central America and all of the adjoining islands. That means wherever we are. If we're in Canaanland, if we're in Eskimo proper, if we're in Puerto Rico, if we're in Trinidad, if we're in Jamaica, if we're in Barbados, is the land of the Moors. You follow me?
Yeah.
Okay. You gotta forgive me sometimes. I'm trying to get a lot of stuff in. So my brain is moving faster, my mouth is moving faster than my brain is telling me what to say. So I apologize. But I'm gonna promise to get as much in as I can for the time that we have, okay? What's interesting about the relationship of Noble Drew and what he was doing, as he was sewing the things back together, there were Moors who were standing with him who had on fezzes who were unsewing and pulling the garment apart that he was sewing back together. And that's what Grand Sheikh Taj, who I want to acknowledge as well, one of our strong soldiers and fighters on the battlefield for the Prophet and his Moorish divine and national movement is Taj Tariq Bey, as well as Lord Nature Ill Bey, who I have a tremendous amount of respect for. These two Grand Sheiks, again, they're powerful brothers unto themselves, and they lit me on fire with truth and holy zeal. So I have to acknowledge them. Okay. But one of the things that Noble Drew Ali was doing, he was knitting it back up, but there were Moors who were attempting to undermine him at that time, really similar to what was going on with Marcus Garvey during the time when Garvey was rolling. You have the establishment of the Boulay during that time, which is an organization that was designed to work against any progressive leadership that was melanated. So they wanted to get rid of anybody who actually, and they used W.E.B. Du Bois, unfortunately, to actually work against the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey. But, which is really kind of insane, because at the end of Du Bois's life, he winds up adopting the ideals of Marcus Garvey. He actually expatriated himself from the Americas and went back to Africa and repatriated himself. So it kind of defeated the purpose. Somebody trying to say something?
No, you're good, you're good.
Okay, so it kind of defeated the purpose.
Hello?
But there were agent provocateurs who were in the movement who were attempting to, and still are, attempting to pull the movement apart from the inside.
Excuse me.
You know? Yes.
Isn't that the same as Martin Luther King and Malcolm X?
Really similar, more. There were people who were working in between Brother Malcolm El Haj, Malik El-Shabazz, and Martin Luther King to stop that meeting from happening, to actually unite those two minds. Those were two very, very powerful minds who had, at the time, had those two minds been put together, they would have been a very formidable opponent for the people who they were fighting against, i.e. the United States government at that time. Mm-hmm. You know, the U.S., mm-hmm. not the Republic. The Noble Drew Ali talked about, the National Republic. Mm-hmm. And that's another thing. A lot of the Moors think that we're insane because we talk about, you know, America being this corporation and this fiction, but any nation that is insolvent and doesn't have gold and silver is a fiction. Most of the nations like that belong to the United Nations. And the United Nations exist for bankrupt nations. That's why Taiwan is not a part of the United Nations, because it's a gold-rich nation. I know I got off the subject a bit, but the movement between Malcolm and Martin and Garvey and even Noble Drew Ali, because right at the point where Marcus Mosiah Garvey met the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, they deported him right after that. So they didn't actually give them the opportunity to forge this cohesive alliance that will be strong enough to move our people from A to Z. Because what you got to understand about Marcus Garvey and the Prophet, the only distinction in the work of the two is that Garvey had everything, he laid everything out except for the nationality piece. Noble Drew Ali brought the essential piece, the nationality piece. Noble Drew Ali said, we are today what our ancient forefathers were yesterday, which is very important. Garvey actually was looking for something to call us. Garvey was actually looking for a religion or a tradition to bury us in. He wasn't sure if it was the Hebraic idea. He wasn't sure if it was an Islamic idea. So what he did was he kind of merged the two and had us work from that particular paradigm, which was brilliant, because you can have the best of both worlds. But before that relationship was really forged, they deported the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, you know? Perfect example. In the United States, there's something called UN resolution. No, I'm sorry. It's called I can't think of the number, but what it is a resolution, executive order, pardon me, during the Carter administration, President Carter, and it talked about the relationships, and this is their language, the relationships of the Africans in America and the Africans in Africa, and forging a wedge between those two so that the two never meet. So the game has always been the same. You know, that's why Noble Drew Ali came to begin to teach the Moors to be themselves. If we can just be ourselves, it'll make sense to us that we should unite with our brothers who have all of the resources that you can imagine. Imagine someone whose backyard is full of diamonds, but they don't have a way to extract the diamonds out of the earth. A very wise friend of mine told me about 10 or 15 years ago, and it's a very important book. If you don't have it in your library, you should have it in your library now. It's written by one of our great scholars. He's returned to the ancestors now. His name is Walter Rodney. Anybody familiar with him?
Yes.
He wrote a book called How Europe Underdeveloped Africa. He was from Martinique. I mean, for some reason or another, they put a bomb under his car. I wonder why. He was having a conversation. He was having a conversation about why Europe was so involved in African affairs and why they're still involved today. It all boils down to three things. It all boils down to three things, Moors, and that's God, gold, oils, and diamonds. That's all it's ever been about for the European. And he'll kill you and eat you. He'll kill you and eat you for those three things. You know? So we have to actually think beyond where we are. There's so much for us to do. But the first order of the day, again, is nationality. If we can begin to think as a national people again, and an example of what people do when they have nationalistic thoughts is the state of Israel.
Yeah.
Say again?
Islam. Yes, Islam.
The state of Israel is something that was created in 1948. Amazingly, there was one nation that they needed more to actually bring it into existence. And that nation that voted on the side of Israel that brought it into existence is Liberia. When I found that fact out, that blew me away. I was like, for real?
Wow.
Why? You know? Liberia. And with that being said, they built a nation. First they had a government in exile called the World Zionist Congress. And it existed in exile, being headed by Theodore Herzl. Theodore Herzl, right? It actually didn't know where to go. There's a book written about it. You can download it off the internet. It's called Judenstaaten in German. It means the German state. Jewish state, pardon me. Judenstaaten. And what it talks about is that they didn't even know where to go. They considered Argentina. They considered
Nigeria and Uganda.
And they considered Israel as the last resort, believe it or not. So if this is really their indigenous homeland and they're claiming it based on the Tanakh, the Torah, why didn't they choose that first?
Right. Well,
Islam.
Not only is that an example of the how nations are built. I mean, they built it. It took them years to build it, man. It took them years to build it. I mean, lobbying, blowing up hotels, creating fake terrorism. I mean, doing all the things that was necessary to bring that state into existence. Another piece I'd like to recommend to the Moors, The Multitude, is written by the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey. It's a little blue and white book. It's about this big. It's called A Message to the People, A Course in African Philosophy. And what Marcus Mosiah Garvey does is lays out clearer than I've ever seen outside of one of our great, the brother Amos Wilson's plan, or even Chancellor Williams' plan, is how, step by step, to put your plan in action. It's amazing to me that, because a lot of books are written and they are solution based, you know. But what we have to do is begin to take a little bit from all the wisdom of our elders who've come to make the vision of Noble Drew Ali come to fruition. Because again, on the chart it says extended learning. To take portions of what some of the others have said and done and put those together so we can move beyond 100 years.
Islam.
The actual Jewish state trains ambassadors. They have a 500-year out plan for the state of Israel from right now 500 years out. 500 years out. I mean, we gotta make moves. You know, we gotta Yeah. We're playing catch up. We're actually playing catch up. But again, we have to understand that all these things are in divine order. That these things are, preordained. But I'd like to borrow this from another one of our great leaders. This is a fixed fight. And though it may look like we're going down,
nice.
Bobby,
yeah.
Uppercut.
Yeah.
No question. See, the uppercut is nationality and birthrights. The uppercut is various Moorish leaders around the country who they believe aren't in conjunction with each other, who work in conjunction with each other for the greater good of the Moors wherever we are. So don't believe all the hype and foolishness. There are enemies of the prophet and enemies of our movement. But there are brothers who work tirelessly day and night to make sure that this movement keeps moving and doesn't become stagnant. That's very, very, very important. Again, I know I'm jumping a lot, but just bear with me. I teach kind of weird. The Roman Catholic Church has and always has been in the seat when it comes to being in opposition to the Moors. There was a papal bull, June 18th, 1452, that talked about something called the doctrine of discovery. Anybody familiar with that?
Yeah.
I can't hear you.
Islam.
The doctrine of discovery talks about wherever they go and find the Saracens or Muslims, they put it in parentheses, that they could vanquish them and take their lands because they were infidels. Okay? And this was issued by Pope Nicholas V. Now what's interesting about this, and they also used the same papal bull to do away with some of the other native peoples who were in the Americas. Right? They used the same exact papal bull. And these are the same people who there are pictures of blessing the guns of the German soldiers when they went into battle against, when they were throwing people in ovens. Okay, they got pictures of these guys, Spiritu Santi over the machine guns. So we have to understand that these are the same people again who've been at war with the Moors since the time of Charlemagne, when the Europeans didn't even agree with each other. You had the Angles, the Saxons, the Franks, all being Indo-Germanic, but didn't agree with each other. Then there was a man who came along named Charlemagne who said, you know what? If we don't do something to the Saracens, they're going to take over Jerusalem. They're going to push us out, and we're going to be slaves to these people. I don't agree with you, Anglo. I don't agree with you, Saxon. I don't agree with you, Frank. I don't agree. But what we can agree with is that we have a common enemy. Someone is attempting to kill us. So they forged a bond with each other and went in and destroyed the Moors everywhere that they could. And that has continued until this present day. There's still a silent war being waged against the Moors. There's a way to Moors where you can start a war and it'll be bloody and violent. And then, according to one of our great scholars, Jacob Carruthers, it'll end in intellectual warfare, which is what we're going through now. It's no longer, big scimitars or, even an M16. Now we fight with our minds. Now we're in a battle called intellectual warfare. We have to be smarter than.
Like, this shit's serious to me, man. I take this shit bigger than just a rhyme to me. It's a way of life. It's a culture. Respect the brand, dude. If you gave a fuck about this culture in any kind of shape, form, or fashion, you would not put the shit out that you put out.